The Nightfarers, the warriors we bring into battle, are arguably the most compelling new feature introduced in Nightreign. Each offers a drastically different playstyle that transforms not only how you fight, but also how you coordinate with your team. And in this video, we'll break down every Nightfarer, highlighting their strengths, weaknesses, and even how they compare to one another. Starting with the game's poster child, we have Wylder, the traditional knight archetype with a few modern upgrades. Wylder specializes in high-speed, high-impact combat capable of launching across the battlefield to deliver relentless damage. His skill Clawshot lets him pull himself towards terrain or heavier enemies. When used against lighter or shooting enemies, they're dragged towards him instead or have their guard broken. His ultimate art, Onslaught Stake, charges a devastating AoE blast that deals not only significant damage but also an immense amount of stagger, often stunning enemies outright when fully charged. The stake can actually be used in several ways. Holding the button delivers that fully charged explosion, while tapping it unleashes a weaker version that only uses part of the art gauge. Wylder can also perform an even faster version by using it mid-air, adding flexibility to his kit. Wylder's passive is Sixth Sense, which allows him to survive a fatal hit once, with the effect resetting after visiting a site of grace or resurrecting. His preferred weapon type is the Greatsword. In terms of strengths, Wylder is one of the easiest Nightfarers to pick up and play. He's also among the most mobile characters in the game, and when combined with the overall strength of Greatswords and his unique moveset with them, he's an incredibly strong, reliable character. However, his main drawback is his limited utility in group play, offering little in the way of party support. Next up is Ironeye, arguably the only truly good archer in any FromSoft game. A highly mobile ranged fighter, Ironeye marks enemies while dishing out consistent damage from a distance. Their skill Marking is a powerful dash that disables collision and applies a mark to any enemies passed through. Marked enemies take increased damage for a short duration or until the mark takes enough damage to detonate, dealing a massive burst of damage. Notably, the dash offers an absurd number of iframes, making it one of the strongest survival tools in the game. Ironeye's ultimate art, Single Shot, fires a moderately powerful bow strike that ignores terrain and can be charged to increase its size, making it ideal for clearing large groups. It also has the ability to interrupt enemies, briefly staggering anyone hit, including bosses. Their passive Eagle Eye increases the chances of obtaining higher quality loot for both Ironeye and his party, making it an incredibly valuable passive. Unsurprisingly, the preferred weapon is the bow. As for strengths, Ironeye excels at avoiding damage thanks to a combination of ranged attacks and one of the best escape tools in the game. Their passive drastically boosts the odds of securing strong weapons and gear, increasing the party's overall performance. In terms of weaknesses, Ironeye has virtually none. Moving on to Guardian, our feathered friend, who is the go-to tank/support Nightfarer. Guardian combines excellent durability with some of the most powerful party utility in the game. Their skill Whirlwind generates a wind AoE that damages enemies while launching lighter foes into the air. The ability can be charged to increase its radius and effectiveness. Guardian's ultimate art, Wings of Salvation, has him take flight before crashing down to damage enemies in a wide area and revive any nearby allies. Moreover, holding the button channels a protective field for a brief duration, rendering all allies effectively immune to damage. His passive Steel Guard activates by pressing the dodge button while guarding. This triggers a fortified guard stance, significantly reducing the stamina drain from incoming hits. Guardian's preferred weapon is the Halberd, and in addition to the unique moveset granted to all characters with the preferred weapons, he gains a special guard counter executed by holding R2 after successfully blocking an attack. In terms of strength, Guardian's ultimate art is arguably the most powerful team support ability in the game. He's also among the most durable characters available, capable of withstanding sustained pressure. As for weaknesses, Guardian likely has the lowest damage potential of any Nightfarer, and unfortunately guard counters can sometimes be inconsistent. And from one tank to another, our next Nightfarer is Raider, a character who doesn't avoid damage but charges headfirst into it, using pain to fuel his power. His skill Retaliate allows Raider to charge up a powerful punch that increases its strength based on the damage he takes before using it. His ultimate art is Totem Stella, and it sees him summon a massive totem that deals moderate AoE damage and creates a lingering platform on the battlefield. This platform not only alters the terrain but also boosts the damage output of nearby allies for its duration. Raider's passive Fighter's Resolve prevents him from being stunned or knocked down while executing his skill, allowing him to maintain offensive pressure even in chaotic encounters. Uniquely, Raider doesn't have one preferred weapon, instead he excels with all colossal weapon types, giving players a range of heavy-hitting options to tailor their playstyle. Strength-wise, Raider boasts impressive durability and excels at consistently staggering enemies with his colossal strikes. As for weaknesses, his attacks come with lengthy animations and high stamina costs, making it easy to overextend or take unnecessary damage if not carefully timed. Additionally, while his totem offers valuable party support, its physical presence can occasionally obstruct teammates during intense battles. The last of our traditionally tanky Nightfarers is Executor, a character who in skilled hands can completely avoid damage through precise timing and calculated aggression. Executor's core ability is Cursed Sword, the foundation of his durability. This skill sees him draw his unique katana capable of parrying almost any attack. The parry window is surprisingly generous, and each successful parry not only deflects damage, but also deals significant stagger damage. After blocking enough attacks, the katana begins to glow, increasing its attack power and unlocking a special L2 attack that inflicts solid damage and moderate stagger. His ultimate art aspect of the Crucible Beast transforms Executor into a towering beast, fully restoring his HP and drastically increasing his maximum health. In this form, he gains access to a suite of unique attacks, including light and heavy strikes, a staggering roar, and a devastating charged blow that immediately ends the transformation. While in his beast form, Executor becomes immune to most staggering effects. However, if he dies during this state, it counts as a normal death, so recklessness can be costly. Executor's passive tenacity boosts his damage output and stamina regeneration whenever he recovers from a status ailment. His preferred weapon type is katanas, which is arguably the strongest weapon class in the game. In terms of strength, Executor offers near invulnerability through well-timed parries, massive burst potential via his arcane scaling, and benefits from wielding one of the game's strongest weapon types. However, he requires more technical skill than most Nightfarers. His Cursed Sword demands careful timing, and his ultimate art is a double-edged sword. While powerful, the beast form can leave him vulnerable to fatal mistakes, especially in the game's more punishing encounters. From the last of the tanky Nightfarers to the first of the more fragile ones, we have the Recluse, Nightfarer's go-to spellcaster. Her core skill, Magical Cocktail, allows her to absorb up to 3 elemental fragments to cast a unique spell based on the elements absorbed. There are 4 elemental types, Magic, Fire, Lightning, and Holy, leading to over 14 possible spell combinations. This gives Recluse one of the most versatile toolkits in the game. Recluse's ultimate art, Soul Blood Song, unleashes a massive AoE that marks any target's hit. Any damage dealt to those marked enemies causes the attacker, whether it's Recluse or her allies, to regain both HP and FP, making this ability an excellent blend of offense and team support. Her passive elemental defense restores a small amount of FP each time she absorbs an elemental fragment, giving her a reliable way to sustain her resource economy during extended encounters. Strength-wise, Recluse boasts arguably the highest raw damage potential in the game. Thanks to her spell variety and FP restoration tools, she can deal continuous high-impact damage while also supporting her allies' survivability through Soul Blood Song. However, her weaknesses are just as pronounced. She's extremely fragile and highly reliant on both gear and preparation. Her skill demands memorization of various elemental combinations, and her full potential is locked behind consistent access to elemental sources, making her less forgiving for newer players or in gear light runs. With that, we've covered all the base Nightfarers, but there are still 2 additional characters that can be unlocked as of now. The first is the Duchess, who becomes available after obtaining the old pocket watch. This item has a random chance to drop after facing any Night Lord, or can be acquired as a guaranteed drop upon defeating one. Once you have the pocket watch, bring it to the priestess to unlock the Duchess. Duchess is Nightrein's resident spellblade, blending magical potency with agile melee combat. Her signature skill, Restage, repeats half of all damage and status buildup inflicted on nearby enemies over the last few seconds. This effectively amplifies team damage output, making it one of the strongest damage enhancing abilities in the game. Her ultimate art finale grants temporary invisibility to both Duchess and nearby allies, rendering them completely undetectable for a brief period. Her passive Magnificent Pose enables her to dodge twice in rapid succession and reduces overall stamina consumption. This combination makes Duchess one of the most mobile Nightfarers, allowing her to fluidly avoid damage during combat. Duchess's preferred weapon type is daggers, which complements her fast-paced evasive playstyle, allowing her to weave in and out of melee range efficiently. In terms of strengths, Restage is arguably one of the most powerful skills in the game, as it simply just duplicates the party's damage output. Her exceptional mobility, thanks to her unique dodge mechanic, also helps compensate for her low durability. As for weaknesses, despite her affinity for sorcery, Duchess lacks a reliable way to regenerate FP, which limits her sustained casting ability. Additionally, while her ultimate art has its niche uses, it's one of the weaker ultimates in terms of its raw utility or power. And lastly, we have the Revenant, the final Nightfarer currently available. Much like Duchess, she can be unlocked after encountering your first Night Lord, but instead of relying on a drop, you'll need to purchase the besmirched frame from the pot vendor. Once acquired, this item allows you to interact with the Revenant, who is found silently observing a picture of Radagon. Interacting with her transports you to a unique area where you must face her and her family in battle. Upon winning the fight, she'll be unlocked as a playable character. Revenant serves as Nightreign's summoner archetype, commanding a trio of spirits in combat. Her skill Summon Spirits lets her call forth one of her 3 spectral allies depending on the input. Pressing R1 summons Helen, an agile single-target fighter. Pressing R2 brings forth Frederick, a slower area of effect focus summon, and pressing L1 summons Sebastian, a sturdy stationary spirit designed to draw enemy attention and tank hits. Her ultimate art, Immortal March, temporarily renders Revenant, her summons, and any nearby party members unable to die for its duration. Additionally, it instantly revives any downed allies and causes whichever summon is currently active to unleash a powerful ultimate attack. Helen performs a high-speed flurry of strikes, Frederick unleashes a series of AoE spins, and Sebastian fires a devastating beam of energy. Rather than having a traditional preferred weapon, Revenant begins with a unique set of fists, which scale well and often remain her best weapon option throughout the game, aside from a few high-tier upgrades. In terms of strengths, her ultimate art is one of the most powerful clutch abilities in the game, capable of reviving an entire party or offering short-term invincibility. Her summons, particularly Sebastian, also excel at diverting enemy focus, providing valuable breathing room in chaotic encounters. As for weaknesses, Revenant is tied for the lowest durability among all the Nightfarers, making her extremely vulnerable if not properly protected. Despite her large FP pool, she lacks consistent ways to replenish FP mid-battle, which can limit her effectiveness in prolonged fights. And finally, while Immortal March is strong in solo play as a survival tool, in group scenarios its primary value often boils down to emergency revives. Now that we've covered all the Nightfarers currently in the game, let's go ahead and rank them in terms of their solo and group strength. Just to be clear, these rankings are mostly aimed at newer players, because once you hit medium to high skill levels, basically every Nightfarer can perform incredibly well. Beginning with the solo list, we're going to start off in the S tier with Ironeye and Wylder. Both of these are incredibly easy to pick up and play, both of them have passives that help improve their chances of having a strong run, and they aren't as reliant on items. And on top of that, both of their skills allow for quick traversal of the map, which makes exploration quick and easy, and their arts can both interrupt powerful enemy attacks, giving them breathing room in solo play. In A tier, we've got Executor and Raider. Executor just barely misses out on the S tier, mainly because his playstyle revolves around parrying, and that does require a bit more skill to use effectively. But once mastered, he's essentially invincible, and one of the best damage dealers in the game. Raider is much more straightforward. He's bulky, hits hard, and his use of colossal weapons means he'll constantly stagger enemies, making brute force a very real option. That said, his slow attack animations and high stamina costs can trip you up if you aren't careful. Moving to the B tier, we have Duchess and Revenant. The biggest issue with these two is their durability. They're both incredibly fragile. That said, they do bring good damage to the table, and both have strong survival tools to help compensate for their weak health pools. But when you're on your own, it's going to take some finesse to keep them alive and deal consistent damage. And finally, in the C tier, we have Guardian and Recluse. So Guardian is clearly designed for group play. His ultimate, while amazing in co-op, is much weaker solo, and more importantly, he has the lowest damage potential of any Nightfarer, meaning fights will take much longer, which means he's not able to get nearly as much done as many of the other Nightfarers. Recluse is kind of the opposite. She has some of the highest damage potential in the game, but she's incredibly fragile. In solo play, it's tough to get her longer, more powerful spells off safely, and unlike Revenant, she doesn't have summons or tools to draw attention away from her. But with that, we move on to the group ranking, where things shift around quite a bit. First up in the S tier, we have Ironeye, and this time around, they stand alone at the top. Not only do they retain all the strengths they had in solo, but they also bring a ton of party utility to the table. Their passive increases loot quality for the whole group, and their ability to mark enemies greatly boosts team damage. Moving down to A tier, we see Guardian takes a massive leap up. His ultimate is easily one of the strongest party tools in the entire game. Not only does it instantly revive down party members, but it also makes them effectively immune to damage for a short period of time. It's the kind of tool that can single-handedly turn a losing fight around. Duchess also rises up a tier thanks to the way her skill scales with overall damage. The more damage your party deals, the more value Restage brings, and it becomes one of the best ways to amplify team DPS. Even her ultimate, which is a bit on the weaker side, finds some good footing in groups as a decent tool for repositioning or escaping sticky situations. Wylder unfortunately drops from the S tier to the A tier, and that's mostly because he doesn't bring any true party support. But despite that, he's still an incredibly strong and reliable pick. He's easy to play, he hits hard, and moves fast. A solid choice no matter the party comp. Rounding out A tier, we have Raider, who stays right where he was. He still brings all the same bulk and stagger power he had in solo, and now we add some party utility thanks to the damage buff granted by his total. Into the B tier now, we see that Executor takes a bit of a step down. That's largely because his parry-focused skill becomes much less reliable in group play. It's just harder to maintain aggro and line up parries when enemies are bouncing between targets. And outside of his amazing personal damage, he doesn't bring much to the team in terms of support or utility. Revenant also remains in B tier, even though she does bring some strong party tools. Her ultimate is actually stronger in co-op since it provides revive potential and temporary invulnerability to an entire party, but her skill and passive both take a hit. Her summons aren't as effective in groups, and she only gains the benefit of her passive when she lands the killing blow, which is harder in group content. Plus, most players are going to save her ultimate for emergency revives, which means her summons won't get to use their special attacks nearly as often. And lastly, Recluse stays in C tier, and this mostly comes down to difficulty and gear reliance. She's the most gear-dependent Nightfarer in the game, and also one of the most complex to play. She's incredibly fragile and hard to use effectively, especially for newer players. That said, I want to stress, at higher skill levels, Recluse is potentially one of the strongest characters in the entire game. If you really master her skill and make the most of her spell combinations, she can absolutely carry teams. But for the average player, she's more likely to underperform, though less so than in solo. Anyways, that's every Nightfarer currently in the game, covered and ranked. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. With that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.